Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So my disclaimer is I don't own the rights to this music, but it is wonderful music nonetheless. Hey, hey, hey. So I am extremely excited about this evening, and I want to hold tight and see if a few others will join, and see where we go from there. I see a couple of people. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right, let me get back to where I need to be. Okay. I see some people joining. Hello, hello, hello. So I am really excited about this evening's message. I am excited about the conversation. And here is my disclaimer. Um, it might get real deep today, so be prepared. My other disclaimer is it might get a little lengthy, so be prepared. If you are not able to see it through, know that it will be uploaded at the end of the session to my YouTube, and you'll have an opportunity to watch it thoroughly there. So I wanted to start by saying, of course, thank you for joining, and also to talk about what tonight's or this evening's message will be about. And you know when you are up to something that's on the right path with the Most High, because everything that you try to do well, there's always something or someone trying to deviate you from your purpose. So as I have sat for the last 2 hours preparing for this message, reading, meditating, praying, and asking God to give me just the right words to say the right things the right way, just as I was getting close to the 6 o'clock hour, my iPhone decided to do an update. And it forced me to pick up my Android and download Facebook and go live. So here I am. But nonetheless, I'm here. What that really means to me is that there's a message out here in what I'm doing that is for someone. And I don't know who that someone is. It might just be, I may be that someone. But whatever this message is, I hope that it is well received. So I want to start by talking about a couple of things. And the things that I am sharing today is related to parenting. It's related to my experience as a parent of adult children. It's related to an experience that I had this weekend. And I just want to start by saying that it's interesting that everyone is talking now about this situation with Kirk Franklin and his son recording this message or playing part of the message and not the entire message painting a picture of Kirk Franklin in not such a good light. And I found it to be interesting as I watched a video or a clip of his interview with Tamron today, and I could see the pain in his face. And I know that pain all too well as a mother of adult children. The level of disrespect that I've felt and that has been exhibited by my adult children, not all of them, but a few, has really been heartbreaking. And this past weekend, there was an experience that really led me to a different path, because the old Melissa would have been doing this live from inside of a jail cell. So the fact that you guys are still seeing me means that there was some serious growth in me. There was a level of disrespect that I never imagined coming from two of my adult children. But that's not what this really is about for me. Because the one thing that I learned in this experience this weekend is that we all have our own journey that we have to live for, that we have to live through, and that we have to be responsible and accountable for. And so my message today is not to, talk about the hurtful experience that I had with my children, my adult children, and their level of disrespect, but it's more about sharing on how you move forward and how you know when you're doing the right things. And how do I know that I'm doing the right things? Because everything that has happened, I was prepared for. And it's interesting that the situation that took place on Saturday, I had just had a conversation that morning about that situation. And so I was already being prepared, and I didn't even know I was being prepared. So I wrote down a couple of things today that I wanted to talk through, and I wanted to share these things with you. So the one thing that I realize is that when you become a believer in the spirit, your spirit is made right, but sometimes your soul doesn't get noticed. And this was a quote by Donald Lawrence. And what does that mean? For me, that means that I know that I am doing the right thing, but it doesn't change the pain within. And what I realized with that is that because of that pain that is still buried deep down in our soul, we still oftentimes react, we often react to that pain and to that hurt. And, I just want to say that I know that I am being tested specifically by my children, and that I've learned that forgiveness isn't, and I've said this on many times, that forgiveness is not for others, it's for ourselves. But you don't really know that to be true until you become a parent and you realize that you haven't done all the things right as a parent. And then you have to forgive yourself because you're trying to understand, why are my children not operating in the way that children should towards their parents? So I heard Kirk Franklin say this. Tamron asked him, "Do you respect your adult son?" And he said, "I do respect my 32-year-old, soon to be 33 adult son, but we are not equal." And I had to sit and let that resonate in my spirit and say, what does that mean? We are not equal. Going beyond that, in more messages today, I'm listening to a red table talk conversation. And I came to the realization that my children's journey is theirs. My journey is mine. My children came into this world through me. I was a vessel that God used. But by no means does that mean that I can dictate their journey. Ultimately, their journey is their own. So, when you start dealing with this level of disrespect that I have had from the level that I've experienced with my children, and I have beat myself up about what I did wrong as a parent. And many times, if you know my story, you know that, I experienced a lot of things with my parents that has caused me not to feel that they were owed or due the respect. This past weekend, I learned something different about that. It's not about them earning respect from me. I should be respecting my parents, just that simple. It's not, I learned from reading a scripture that said that you are to honor your mother and your father.